regime is now no longer new. It has become default tax regime. So your question number 1 and all the questions, nothing is given in exam. You have to solve as per 115 BAC tax rates and whatever other rules I'll tell you now. Okay. So that's called as default tax regime. And other tax rates, the old tax rates which we have studied earlier, we used to call it as normal. But now they are not normal because this has become default. Are you all with me? So I'm preparing you for exclusive questions of default tax regime, and we will prepare together also the combined questions. Most of the times in question number 1, they are asking that compute the income as per the old regime, as per default tax regime, and which one is beneficial. That's what Vishal should go. Compute the income for Vishal. So then how to go by? Quality good questions of past exam are given. The sheets which I am using, they are available in the Telegram, in the WhatsApp challenges group. Link is given in the description. Okay. So very quickly, there are 3 parts. I have divided this class very quick, very clear. First one is we will learn the concept of 115 BAC in the coming 15 minutes. Second one is we already know the old rates, right? So old rates and this rates, I have made a very nice comparative chart. That chart is going on for 1.5 page. Take a printout of that chart, put it where you study for 2-3 days. Just observe it. You will never make a mistake. Okay, ma'am, how to remember what is allowed and what is not allowed. And then we will solve questions by comparing both the tax rates. Ready to go? So pick up your pen, calculators, notebook, and you are there in the challenges group and Telegram. I have already sent the material yesterday. Take a printout and then study. It makes difference. Chal. 115 BAC. Okay. Regular batch students, fast track, all this is there in our compiler on page number 25. 115 BAC default tax regime. Okay. Earlier it was new tax regime, but now nothing given. You have to compute the income and tax as per 115 BAC. It is applicable to individuals. Yeah, it is applicable to individuals, HUFs, AOP, BOI, AJP. Clear? This is applicable to individual HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP. Not to partnership firm, LLP and company. No. They have an option to pay on the total income at the given tax rates. Okay. Special income, special rates, what you have studied in the old regime, that's the same here. Like lottery and casual income, 30%, unexplained income, 60%, long-term capital gain on the shares and all, now it is 12.5%. So, and I hope you remember 23rd of July 2024, that's not your birthday, that's not my birthday. That's the day from where long-term capital gain rates have changed. So to cover up all the amendments of long-term capital gain, don't miss out watching one-shot revision video of the long-term capital gain. Okay? Chalo. Now, if you are going for default tax regime, up to 3 lakhs you get basic exemption nil. 3 lakh to 7 lakh. On the next 4 lakh, it's 5%. 7 lakh to 10 lakh. On the next 3 lakh, it's 10%. 10 lakh to 12 lakh. On the next 2 lakh, it's 15%. 12 to 15, it's 20%. And 15 above, it's 30%. So this is so clear. 5, 10, 15, 20 and 30. 25 is not there. Above 15 lakhs, it is 30%. If you here only write the old rates, up to 2.5 nil, 2.5 to 5 lakh, it is 5%. Then 5 lakh to 10 lakh, it's directly 20%. And above 10 lakh, it is 30%. This is in case of the old rates. In the new regime or the default tax regime, above 15 lakhs, it is 30%, right? 4323. 4323. That way you remember? Or simply you remember up to 3 lakh basic exemption. 3 lakh to 7 lakh 5%. 7 lakh to 10 lakh. 10 to 12. 12 to 15 and above 15. Okay? If you are going for default tax regime, alternative minimum tax, you remember? 18.5% on the adjusted total income. That's not applicable. So you compare old regime, this, and the new regime, whichever is beneficial, you can go. Okay. Rebate is available. I have given very nice comparison down. In the old regime, up to 5 lakh if your income is, then from the tax you get a rebate of up to 12,500. Here, the rebate is up to 7 lakhs income. Yeah, up to 7 lakh. Now we know 3 lakh tak to koi tax nahi hai. 3 lakh to 10 lakh, 4 lakh ka 5%. So 20,000. I hope you are getting. So what's the rebate in the old regime? Up to 5 lakh and 12,500. This is 7 lakh and 20,000. More about the rebate, I'll take you to notebook and show. Special income, special rates, no problem. Surcharge, very important point, and I want all of you to write here. MCQ. You know when the surcharge is applicable? When you're earning more than 50 lakhs. Individuals, HUF, COP, BOI, right? So 50 lakhs to 1 crore, there also 10%, here also 10%. 1 crore to 2 crore, 15% there, 15%. 2 crore to 5 crore, there 25%. Here 2 crore and above, it's all 25%. In the old regime, above 5 crore, the surcharge is 37% on tax. Here 37% is not applicable. Is this clear to all of you? Same rates are applicable. Huh? Surcharge also. So their surcharge rates are 10%, 15%, 25%, 37. यहाँ पे 37 is not there. Even if your income is 8 crore and you are paying the tax in default tax regime, then the surcharge is, how you say, the surcharge applicable is 25%, right? I hope you remember tax is calculated on total income, surcharge is calculated on tax, and on tax plus surcharge, both 4% health and education cess. Okay. Now, very beautiful, super important is basic exemption. Okay. You remember in the old regime, if you are a senior citizen, 3 lakhs, 60 years and above. Super senior citizen, 80 years and above. Basic exemption is only 5 lakh. This additional 3 lakh, 5 lakh benefit is not available in default tax regime. If the SSC is of 84 years, still what will be the basic exemption if he wants to file his return? I'm having little cold. I hope the volume sound is all okay. All okay? AC, all clear. Thank you. Sure. So if you are 84 years old, who? An SSC, right? What will be the basic exemption? 3 lakh. Okay. Say I'm computing the income for David. He's a non-resident. Then what will be the basic exemption? 3 lakh. The gist beautifully I have written in this point. Same rates are applicable for non-resident, senior citizen, super senior citizen. No additional basic exemption. कुछ benefit नहीं मिलेगा. Okay. There in the old regime you do get benefit. Here you don't get. Now, new income tax regime will be the default tax regime unless SSC opts for the normal. Normal is now become the old tax rates. Okay. Two basic differences in the old regime and here is, in case of salary, standard deduction is 75,000. In the default tax regime from gross salary, the standard deduction is 75,000. There 50. Same way, family pension, which is taxable in income from other sources, 1/3 or 15,000 in the old regime. But here it will become in the default tax regime 1/3 or 25,000. Okay? Right. Nothing given in the question, you have to solve as per the default tax regime. So now we are ready to take up this much first comparative. Of course, I'll take the deductions and all. This is the table I have made. I was telling you, I have made a comparative table. Put a stick on over here on this page. One day before exam, 10 minutes, you can revise the whole table. These are the 5 heads comparative I am taking. But let us take first the tax rates. Up to 250 nil, 250 to 5 lakh 5%, and this is old rates. Now, default rate up to 3 lakh nil, 3 to 7 lakh, 5%, 7 to 10, 10%, 10 to 12, 15%, 12 to 15, 20, and above 15, 30. Clear? Right. Senior citizen, 60 years and above. The old regime, 3 lakhs, 80 years and above, 5 lakhs. जबकि यहाँ पे in the default tax regime तो 60 years, 80 years on, it is 3 lakh only. Okay? Right. Even non-residents. Non-residents don't get additional basic exemption irrespective. I told you David's age is 84. He'll get 250. Here also he'll just get 3 lakh. No additional. Surcharge rates. 50 lakh to 1 crore, 10%, 1 to 2 crore, 15 to 5, 25, and above 5 crore, 37. Here, 50 lakh to 1 crore, 10%, 1 crore to 2 crore, 15 to crore, 25, 37% surcharge is not applicable in case of default tax regime. You remember one concept we have done called as MMR, maximum marginal rate. That's the highest rate of the tax charge. So because highest rate of surcharge is 37 here 25. That rate will also differ. Okay. If you want, you can add here MMR. Highest rate is 30%. Uspe surcharge is 37%. Uspe 4%. Pick up your calculator. 30 into 137% into 104%. It's coming to 42.744. 42.744 is the maximum marginal rate, highest rate of the tax, right? And here it is how much now? 30% is there, 25% surcharge, and on this 4%. So 30 into 125% into 104%, 39%. Take your time and tell me, is it clear or not? This can be asked in MCQ. What is the highest rate of tax individual will pay? 30%. Surcharge 37. And on tax plus surcharge 4%. Highest rate of tax 30%. Surcharge 25 and on that. Clear until now? Chalo. Now, because you are getting the tax benefit ke up to 15 lakhs ke baad 30% tax is charged. Whereas in the old regime, 30% tax was charged where? Above 10 lakhs only. So here you are getting this benefit. So for that you'll have to forego something. Yeah? कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोना पड़ता है. तो let us see certain exemptions or deductions you have to forego if you are opting for default taxation. See, until now, 10 minutes are over, and a humble request if you feel you are following, if you can connect and get the confidence for your final total income questions, then do share, like, and subscribe. 52% of my regular viewers are unsubscribed. So, subscribe to the channel till your exam at least, right? And there's a lot of content after the exam which is going to come, and the skill enhancer series for your interviews, for your dressing. Many more things to learn, right? But please help me by sharing this video in as many other groups as possible. Notes also are available. So when you share the video, share the notes also. Chalo. What you will not get if you file your return in default tax regime. Leave travel concession. 4 calendar years may 2 visit and all that not allowed. HRA allowance. Rent paid minus 10% of salary, 40 or 50% वो देते हैं ना, that is not allowed. So if you go for default tax regime, full housing rent allowance is taxable. Yeah. 1014 special allowances, education allowance exempt till 100 per month, hostel expenditure exempt till 300, not allowed. Okay. All the allowances which are paid to MPs and MLAs are exempt. But if you are filing your return in default tax regime 115 BAC, they are taxable. ये सब taxable हो जाएगा, right? Okay. This one is surely going to come. Be very careful. Minor. Every minor's income clubbed in the hands of the parent. Parent gets a deduction. under section 10 clause 32 up to 1500 per minor child. दो children का limit नहीं है. But if the minor's income is clubbed in the hands of the parent under default tax regime, parent will not get that 1500 per month deduction. Not allowed. I want all of you to scribble what I am scribbling. 1500 per month का deduction नहीं मिलेगा. Yeah? Daily allowance will become taxable in income from other sources. Ma'am, is it a part of salary and allowance? No, MPs and MLAs are not the employees of government. So their salary as well as allowance will become taxable in other sources. Chalo. 10 AA. I hope we are revising too many other things also and they are really helpful. 10 AA, you remember? What is 10 AA? Tax holiday. Total turnover, total profit. Export turnover, export profit. है ना? Clear है आप सबको? So tax holiday for the units established in SEZ, Special Economic Zone. Proportionate profit is you get a deduction and gross total income. This doesn't come as exemption, but if you go in default tax regime, section 10 AA exemption deduction में भी नहीं मिलेगा. You will not get it in 80C to 80U also, this part. Okay. Next is entertainment allowance deduction. This is allowed to government employees only, that you will not get. Profession tax, paid by employee, then deduct. Paid by employer on behalf of employee, then add and deduct. But deduct only if you are filing your return outside the default tax regime. In default tax regime, entertainment allowance not allowed. Profession tax not allowed. Then what is allowed? Only standard deduction. Okay? That is 75,000. Okay. Just please wait 1 minute. Thank you for waiting. Chalo. So the only deduction allowed from gross salary in the default tax regime is standard deduction. 75,000. Their old regime mein 50,000. Okay. Following deductions are allowed. Transport allowance to handicapped, write down 3,200 per month. Transportation, conveyance from office to home for handicapped employee is allowed 3,200 per month. Conveyance allowance is allowed. Any allowance granted to meet the cost of travel on tour. You know, our sales people are going across India. So for them, we give them fixed allowance. That is allowed. Daily allowance, standard deduction. Yeah. And very important is, did we learn all the retirement benefits, gratuity, leave salary, retrenchment? Then everywhere we had government limits, right? Okay. So retirement benefits, exemptions and all. So are these exemptions allowed? Like gratuity received, the upper limit is 20 lakhs, leave salary 25 lakhs, retrenchment. Is this deduction allowed? Answer is yes. Deduction or exemption, whatever you call it, is allowed. Retirement benefit is allowed. Chalo. Before I go to the next one, I want to see there are two different ways of learning. One is, oops, no battery क्यों बता रहे हैं? One is tuck, 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 tuck. I'll go on teaching. If you don't follow, watch it again. Other ways, what I am doing, I know you have followed, now I'm making you learn. Okay? In salary chapter, leave travel concession, you will not get. HRA, you will not get. Special allowances, that 100, 300 per month, you will not get. Daily allowance of MPs and MLAs was exempt. Now it has become taxable. 1032 minors, you will not get the deduction. Yeah. Every headwise also, I have added all this at the end of the chapter, every headwise. Now we are doing it combined. Tax holiday, what you were getting for the unit located in SEZ, you will not get. Entertainment allowance and profession tax deduction, you will not get. Still, transport allowance to handicapped is allowed in both regime. Conveyance daily allowance is allowed. Any allowance which is granted for true travel of the employees allowed. Standard deduction is allowed. And retirement benefit exemptions, 20 lakhs, 5 lakhs, that is allowed. Coming to house property. In case of self-occupied, you remember in the old regime, in case of two self-occupied property put together, 2 lakh rupees tak interest on loan is allowed. Yes, self-occupied property up to 2 lakhs interest on loan is allowed. Are you all with me? Yeah, in case of the old regime. In the default tax regime, self-occupied property, no losses allowed. Clear to all of you? Yeah. Even house property loss can be set off with other heads up to 2 lakh. In the old regime, in default tax regime, house property loss you cannot set off with others. And self-occupied property, old regime up to 2 lakh you can show loss, or 30,000 if it is for repairs and all. In case of two self-occupied property, mila ke. But in the default tax regime, no loss you can show in the self-occupied property. Next, depreciation under section 32 is allowed. Okay, if you want, you write down normal depreciation allowed in both the regime. But additional depreciation for manufacturer, 20% in the time when you have purchased new plant and machinery, that is not allowed. In default tax regime, you cannot claim the deduction of additional depreciation in business. Chalo. Scientific research. Scientific research, you remember? Revenue and capital expenditure in-house prior 3 years, all that is allowed. But if you are donating to the approved universities, colleges outside, or IITs or national laboratory, then you are getting 100% deduction in the old regime. In the default tax regime, scientific research donated outside for scientific or statistical research, no deduction is allowed. Clear है आप सबको? Okay, right. Yeah, but definitely in-house research and revenue and capital expenditure is allowed other than cost of land. Chalo, next one. 35 AD. Specified businesses, 2-star and above hotel, multi-speciality hospital, production of the fertilizers. Those specified businesses, revenue and capital expenditure is deductible in 35 AD. It's not deductible here. Okay? In the default tax regime, you will not get a deduction for 35. So if you have taken, you have to add back. Now, the most tough thing to digest. Individuals, ye dekho, who are the SSEs, chotus? Individuals, HUF, they all survive on deductions. PPF, they will put, Mediclaim, they will take. If you are filing your return in default tax regime, no deductions are allowed except 3. Employer's contribution to NPS, 80CCD2. That is 14% of your salary. Employer's contribution to National Pension Scheme, 80CCD2, 14%. Employer's contribution to Agniveer Corpus Fund, where army employees are contributing there, 80CCH2. And deduction in respect of employment of new employees under 80JJAA. You know, if you are recruiting new employees, you get deduction in 3 years, 30% now, 30% next year. Whatever new employees you have recruited, according to rules, their salary should be less than 25,000 and they should not go somewhere. So which 3 deductions will be allowed in the default tax regime? 80CCD2, employer's contribution to NPS. That's maximum allowed 14% of basic and DA. Employer's contribution to Agniveer Corpus, 80CCH2, 80CCD2. and 80 double G double A. That's all. So hope these glitches, I call it glitches because our video mein koi glitches nahi hai. But these are tough things to digest, ma'am. You have taught and now they are not allowed. So why we are learning? To compare both regime, to score marks in MCQs. So many times they give house property question and they say Mohini has opted out of the default tax regime. So you have to give self-occupied maybe interest on loan reduction. So exam में दोनों पूछते हैं, nothing asked, you have to do like this. Okay. Now few procedural parts, just in 5 minutes we will finish, which you need to take care. Okay. Because these expenses are not allowed, earlier laws because of this expense is also not allowed. Ma'am, now ये क्या पहेली है? ध्यान से देखो. Depreciation is allowed. Old regime and default regime depreciation is allowed. Additional depreciation is allowed there. Here it is not allowed. So because of additional depreciation, last year there's a business loss. Yeah? Additional depreciation is only not allowed. Then past year's additional depreciation related to that loss carry forward. Will it be allowed? No. Scientific research is allowed. There also, here also. There, scientific research, if you donate to national laboratories, IIT, it's allowed. Here it is not allowed. So if you have earlier scientific research contributed to national laboratory loss, and that loss you are bringing forward, and now you want to go for default tax regime, that loss will lapse. To apply this, it's very easy, but still I have given an example also here. Take this example and it will be clear for you. Ye dekho. See, while computing total income, set off of losses attributable to above expenses or additional depreciation is not allowed. Suppose 10 lakhs is unabsorbed depreciation brought forward. Out of that, 6 lakhs is normal, 4 lakh is additional. 6 lakhs we can set off, but 4 lakh need to be added back to the WDV. In short, 4 lakhs will not be allowed. Okay? Loss under house property cannot be set off with other heads. In case of old regime also, house property loss can be set off with other heads only up to 2 lakh. Mutually they can set off. Right. Depreciation in respect of block of asset cannot be more than 40%. Okay, that's for sure. 40% से ज़्यादा depreciation कोई भी claim नहीं करता. Next. Time limit for exercise of the option. Yeah, very good question. If you are not having income from business or profession, every year you can decide whether you want to opt for default tax regime or not. Such individual can choose to exercise the option. He may choose in 1 year and not. I hope you are getting. Those who are not having business income, they have got a free will. This year I want to file in default. This time I don't want. So it's allowed. But in case if you are having business income only, then once the SSE opts out of the default tax regime, he cannot opt in. Okay, he cannot change the option every time. So या फिर you be in the normal, that is old regime, and if you go in default tax regime, then don't come out. If you come out once, you can't go in till you have business income. So business income, once the option decided, done. Okay. Other than business income, agar hai, they are not having business income, they can decide every year. Okay. If they don't satisfy above conditions and all, then they will not be able to pay in default tax regime. For example, it is mandatory to file your return also on time. If you file your return time, then only you can go for default tax regime. See, that's what is mentioned in section 139, filing of return. Yeah. So I hope the three-way logic is clear. If you are not having business income, every year you can choose whether you want to go for default or normal. If you are having business income, then choose. You want to be in default tax regime, continue every year. Once you are having business income and you want to come out of default, come out, no problem. Again, you'll not be able to. And for opting of default tax regime, it's mandatory to file your return on time. If the due date is over, then by choice also, even if you're not having business income, you're not allowed to go. Okay? Chalo. Hmm. Employees, they deduct the TDS every month on the incomes. Sorry, employer will deduct TDS for an employee on income every month. True. So for that, what is it? That employee will intimate to the employer whether he is going to file the return in default, and accordingly the employer will deduct TDS. है ना? Right. Because if the employee is going for default, he will not take deduction. If the employee is not going for default, an alternative way or old regime, he will take the deduction. Okay. But very important is that intimation would not amount to excising the option while filing return 139(1). That is, suppose the employee has said that, okay, I'll go for default tax regime. But while filing the return, now he wants to opt out of the default tax regime. Is that allowed? Answer is yes. Chalo, now the concept of rebate. Huh? Rebate is given from tax. That is, we have solved questions also in the old tax regime. Up to 5 lakhs, if your income is, rebate is allowed 12,500. But if your income is up to 7 lakhs, the rebate they say it's allowed 25. But if you check, ये 25 now old है, इसकी जगह it should have been 20. It's not a printing in my book. Act only they have kept like that. But understand one thing, up to 3 lakh there is no tax. So 7 lakh में से 3 lakh निकाल दो. Up to 3 lakh nil, 3 lakh to 7 lakh. On 4 lakh, 5% tax comes to how much? 20,000. So in the old regime, 5 lakhs income pay 12,500. In default tax regime, 7 lakh income pay 20,000. Okay, right. But sometimes just the income increases little and the tax is more than increase in income. Now, this is the concept we have studied in marginal relief. Abhi ek kaam karte hain. See, the tax rates are over, the bifurcation is over, the deductions, everything I said. Now, coming 5-10 minutes, I'm exclusively concentrating on the rebate as well as marginal relief. So, pay attention how it works. Marginal relief, yaad tha na? Just because my income crossed 7 lakhs and 15,000, my tax is coming higher than that. Up to 7 lakhs rehta to no tax. Yeah, here 5 lakh pay rebate, here 7 lakh pay rebate. Here 5 lakh pay 12,500, here 7 lakh pay 20% of the 4 lakh, that's 20,000. Okay, chalo. Pay attention now. In rebate, how marginal relief will come, I will clear. Up to 7 lakhs income है तो rebate है. कितना है? Now let us check if the income is 7 lakh 15,000. Regular batch or practice batch, we write so much of notes. Sure. So the first 45 minutes, the revision is over. Then I'll do question answers. Those who just want to do the revision, your part is over. If you feel no, you want to practice question answers, then stay. Okay. See, if your total income is 7,15,000, what will be the tax? 3 lakh tak nil, 3 lakh to 7 lakh 5%. और जो 15,000 above है उस पे 10%, 21,500. Okay. How much is the income above 7 lakhs? 15,000. See, 7 lakhs income pay, tax is nil because you are getting a rebate. And 7 lakh 15,000 pay, the tax is 21,500. Are you all getting? Don't write anything. Understand the logic. Till 7 lakhs income, the tax is nil because you are getting a rebate of 20,000. On 7 lakh 15,000, your tax is 21,500. अभी हमने यहाँ देखा कैसे आएगा. So just because the income increased by 15,000, the tax increased from nil to 21,500. So whatever I'm earning now, you take. I hope you're getting. This is so unreasonable. 7 lakh income, zero tax. 7 lakh 51,000 income, 21,500. Ma'am, for extra 15,000 I have earned, you're asking me to pay 21,500 tax. Leke jao, we don't want. Take this 15,000. Yeah. So that's 15,000. And okay. If the step 2 is more than step 1, okay, then rebate will come. How much? 7 lakh 15 and here 21,500. So 21,500 minus 15,000. 6,500 I want a relief. And after the relief, the tax is coming to 15,000. 21,500 में से relief मिलके on that health and education says and do. 2-3 examples I have given in the notebook also. I'm going to the comparative table also. Yeah. Of course, either rebate will come if income is up to 5 lakh and 7 lakhs, or surcharge will come if the income exceeds 50 lakhs. Both will not come. So there should not be any basic blunder. Chalo. Yeah. Just 2 minutes, I'll share the practice batch ka notebook and you check it. Base of supply में कहाँ? This is the comparative I make the students write. See, Ronak is having income 9 lakh. So up to 3 lakh nil. Next 4 lakh 5%. Next 2 lakh 10%. And then this 41,600 tax. Same 9 lakh in old regime. 250 nil. Next 250 to 5 lakh 5%. 5 lakh to 9 lakhs. Next 4 lakh pay 20%. And this. So where the tax is less, default tax regime. So you should go for default tax regime. So like this, Arhan ka problem is there in the notebook. We will solve it now. Now understand the concept of rebate. Rebate is given from tax. Rehan is having total income 6,30,000. Up to 3 lakh basic exemption. Next 3 lakh to 7 lakh. 3 lakh to 7 lakhs. So 3 lakh 30,000. 3 lakh to 6 lakh 60,000. 30,000 pay. जो है 330 पे 5%. 16,500. Yeah, right. Rebate under section 87A is 16,500. I hope you are getting. Up to 7 lakhs income, you will give a rebate of 20,000. Though they have given 25 नहीं आता है. चलो. Now, 7 lakhs income, 3 lakh तक nil. Next 4 lakh पे 5% rebate, तो taxes nil. 715 I told you. Huh? Up to 7 lakh income है तो taxes nil. 715 पे the tax is 21,500. So how much is the excess income? 15,000. How much is the excess tax? 21,500. So take the extra income. It's a blunder if I earn 15,000 extra and on that 21,500 I'm paying tax. I want a rebate of 6,500. That's what I taught you. Clear to all of you, old regime up to 5 lakhs income, rebate is there in the tax up to 12,500. And please remember basic, after deducting the rebate, add the health and education cess. See, these are the concepts we also do in the one-shot revisions which I am making, snippets. These are the very minute but important point. After the rebate, after the marginal relief, what is the final tax? On that 4% health and education cess. So old regime up to 5 lakh income rebate is 12,500. Default tax regime up to 7 lakh income and the rebate is 20,000. There's a government limit कि कहाँ तक आपको ये rebate मिलेगा. All right. Let us do a snippet revision. Someone should put the time from where I'm starting the snippet revision. In another 10 minutes, we will complete 115 BACs. super quick revision. Okay. In old regime, salary mein leave travel concession is allowed. In default, it's not allowed. HRA, rent paid minus 10%. Here it is allowed in default. Old regime is 250 to 5 lakh. In that, it's allowed. Here it is disallowed. Children education allowance 100 and 300. Here it is allowed. Here it is not allowed. This I have made with the best of my knowledge and comparatives of the past exam. Because this comparison table is essential. Do share it with others. This material is available in the Telegram and WhatsApp group. Chalo. Daily allowance to MPs and MLAs, it's exempt in the old regime. Here it is taxable. Minor child's exemption up to 1500 you will get there. Here you will not get. Retirement, gratuity, leave encashment, government limits exemption is allowed at both places. Transport allowance exemption is allowed at both places. Yeah. Daily allowance, official purpose के लिए, suppose you are getting uniform allowance and you are spending the money to make uniform for office, it's allowed both places. Yeah. Next is standard deduction, very important for upcoming exam. Old regime में the standard deduction is allowed 50,000 and here default में it's allowed 75,000. Yeah, standard deduction. PT and entertainment deduction, here it is allowed. In default tax regime from gross salary, only one deduction, that's called as your standard deduction. ये दो नहीं मिलेंगे. Yeah, perquisites is exempt up to 50 per meal. Here it is not allowed. Section 10 AA SEZ exemption. This is actually a part of business head now. That business head भी नहीं, सीधा deduction में ही मिलता है. Business head तो पूरा taxable होगा. But when you come to 80C to 80U deduction, there 10 AA total turnover, export turnover, total profit, export profit कितना? You cross multiply and you take exemption. First 5 years 100%, then 50, then 50. That is allowed in the old regime. In default tax regime, it's not done. House property loss up to 2 lakhs can be set off with other heads in the old regime. In default tax regime, house property loss will be carried forward. It cannot be set off with other heads. In case of self-occupied property, to self-occupied property, loss up to 2 lakhs is allowed in default tax regime. In normal tax regime, in old regime, mein up to 2 lakhs is allowed. In default tax regime, self-occupied property, no loss is allowed. All this we have seen up also. Coming to business head, normal depreciation is allowed in both the cases. Additional depreciation, 20% in case of manufacturer purchasing plant and machinery, other than ships, aircrafts, and second-hand plant and machinery. This is allowed in the old regime. In the normal regime, it's not allowed. Revenue and capital expenditure, yeah, related to scientific research, other than cost, prior period, that is allowed, both cases. But other than this scientific research donation outside to national laboratory, IIT, 100% scientific research company, that's allowed in the old regime. In default regime, not allowed. Capital gain, there is no change because of the regime, but of course there are tax rates. For that, go and watch one shot revision video of the capital gain. Next, family pension. Yeah, family pension is allowed 1/3 or 15,000, whichever is lower. In other source, family pension you get a deduction 1/3 or 15,000, whichever is lower. If you are filing your return in default tax regime, then 1/3 or 25,000. So one is standard deduction, where you get here 50, here 75. One is pension, family pension, यहाँ 15, यहाँ 25. ठीक है? Other deductions. In old regime, you get all the deductions, but in default tax regime, yeah, you get only 3 deductions. 80CCD2, contribution to NPS, 80CCH2, employer's contribution to Agniveer Corpus Fund, Army Corpus Fund लिखा है मैंने, Agniveer है. 80JJAA new employee. So these 3 deductions will only be allowed in the default tax regime. Even section 10 AA, which comes nowadays in deduction only, यहाँ मिलेगा, यहाँ नहीं मिलेगा. Yeah. 80CC2, contribution by employer. Central government employer है, So they can contribute 14% of basic and DA to National Pension Scheme. Okay, NPS. Other employer can contribute 10% if you opt out of default tax regime. If you are in default tax regime, then other employer can also contribute 14%. This is a very important recent update. Okay, 5 minutes are over, 5 minutes more to go. In 10 minutes, crisp and clear revision of 115 BAC. Dekho. Rebate under section 87A. Okay, how much that is? Hmm? In the old regime, up to 5 lakhs, if your total income is, you get a rebate in the tax from the total income, then rebate is allowed up to 12,500. Here, in the default tax regime, if your income is up to 7 lakhs, rebate is allowed up to 25,000. A small marginal relief concept is there. Compare the tax rates up to 250 nil, 250 to 5 lakh 5%, 5 to 10 lakh 20%, above 10 lakh only 30%. Here, up to 3 lakh nil, 3 to 7 lakh 4, 7 to 10, 10%, 10 to 12, 15, 12 and 15, 20, and above 15, 30. Here it is called 4323. है ना? Chal. Now, senior citizens in the old regime 60 years and above, instead of 250, basic exemption is 3 lakh. Super senior citizen, it's 5 lakh. But if you're filing your return in default tax regime, then whether you're 60 years, 80 years, resident, non-resident, सबके लिए basic exemption is 3 lakh. No change in basic exemption and default tax regime. Acha, even in the old regime, non-residents will never get the additional basic exemption. Be careful while they ask you to calculate tax for non-resident. Non-residents don't get, they will not get the additional basic exemption. Okay, right. Next, surcharge. In the old regime, you have surcharge 10%, 15%, 25%, and 37%. Okay. Here you have 10%, 15%, and 25%, 37% surcharges not there in the default tax regime. You know how it is calculated? If your total income crosses 50 lakh to 1 crore, 10%, 1 to 2 crore, 15%, 2 to 5 crore, 25%, above 5 crore, 37%. Okay, right. 50 lakh to 1 crore, 10%, 1 crore to 2 crore, 15%, 2 crore above 25%, and then it is 37. Clear? Above 5 crore, it is 37% in the old regime. In the default tax regime, above 2 crore, 5 crore, 8 crore, excuse, it's 25% only. Yeah? 37% is not there at all. That's all for the gist revision in the 10 minutes. Now, because some of the deductions are only not allowed in the heads, right? Scientific research, additional depreciation. Related to that, loss also will not be allowed in the default tax regime. Okay? Right. That's all for all the explanation. Nothing given in the exam, you have to follow default tax regime. And if they ask you to compute the income and compare, once you compute the income in detail, the other one you can do add less or separate. I'll show you both the format. Okay. So now we are going for computing total income questions with emphasis on both regime comparison. Anyone is having any doubt? Ready to go? Chalo. Arhan is 35 years and has provided you following details. This sheet is available in the Telegram and WhatsApp. Still, if you're not having, take a screenshot. It's a very nice question from the CMA exam. After this, I'm going to solve this one. This is from the CA exam. So just see how 15 marks questions are asked. Of course, this is not for 15 marks. This is a 5-mark question. Arhan, 35 years, has provided following details. for the previous year 24-25. Income from business, income from saving account, PPF का interest तो वैसे ही exempt है, and he has also put the money 1,50,000 in PPF, for which 80C deduction will be allowed in old regime. In default tax regime, only 3 deductions are there, so this is not. You are requested to compute and advise how you are opt for default tax regime or not. So we can't say whether we'll go for default tax regime, ma'am. There the tax rates are low. ऐसा नहीं है. You work out and compare both and then continue. So 16th problem, better we should solve in notebook. After this also a very nice comparative problem from the past exam I will take. The number of problems you want to do in the notebook that you say. Right now, Arhan's problem I'm doing. Yeah, in exam also, you can do one after the another also, or you can do the comparative also, the way I have. Generally, if it is a big problem, this is a 5-6 marks, so I've done combined. Agar bada 15 marks question with both regime they are asking, then do one after the another. Okay? And working notes should be clear. Rebate ka concept samajh mein aaya at both the places. Don't bother, ma'am, how it is problem number 16. 1 to 15 are the problems for old regime. Now we are in the default regime. So comparatively, we will compute the income of Arhan for the financial year or previous year 24-25 in both the regime. First is old regime, and now what we do is called as default regime. Old regime and default regime. Business income is 15 lakhs. I'm writing in brief so that we can do more problem, put zeros in the exam. And then income from other sources. Only saving bank account interest. Dekhte se, we will give 80 TTA because Arhan's age is 35 years. For 60 years and above, saving and FD interest is deductible in 80 TTB. Right now it is 80 TTA में बिल्कुल deduction मिलेगा. Here it is 12,012. Interest on PPF you have to write. Ma'am, but it is exempt, we know. Yeah, but still write in inner column interest on PPF and then write down exempt. Exempt. Sure. Now, gross total income. Gross total income. 15 lakh 12,000 in both the regime. So in old regime cell, shall we give a deduction under section 80C because you have put the money in PPF 1,50,000. Also under section 80 TTA. 80 TTA, if you get a saving account interest, you get exemption up to 10,000. 80 TTB, you get exemption up to 50,000. Right? So what is the total income? $13,52,000. If you're filing your return in default tax regime, 80 CCH wala hai or 80 CCD hai or 80 JJAA, only 3 deductions are there. This all is not allowed. So income is this, over and out. Oh, income is less in old regime. We should go for old regime. Now let us do the computation of tax. Computation of the tax. Okay. Now we'll do first for the old regime. Old regime. How much is total income? 13,52,000. What is basic exemption? 250 and nil. Next. 255%. Up to 215 and 252, 5 lakh 5%. I hope you are getting. We are an old regime up to 250 nil, next 255%, next 5 lakh, 10 lakh tak matlab. 5 lakh to 10 lakh, 5 lakh. It's 20%. 10 lakhs above, balance. One zero five six double zero. 105600. फोन नंबर नहीं बोल रही हूँ. Calculate the tax. You'll are faster than me. Put the answers in chat box. Two lakh 18. There's no surcharge because income has not exceeded 50 lakhs. So what will be the health and see you have to write 3 hours of the paper, 15 minutes of the reading time. So make sure please do writing practice. मैम मैं टिक टिक करके सब देख लूंगा ऐसा मत करो. 218 100 4% 8724 226 823. Income is low, but the tax, old regime tax. Now, default tax regime. How much is the total income? 15 lakh 12,000. 15 lakh 12,000. Basic exemption is 3 lakh. Tax rates and tax you can write then. Next 3 lakh to 7 lakhs, 4 lakh. Pay 5%. 20,000. 7 lakh to 10 lakhs. Next 3 lakhs. 10%. 10 lakh to 12 lakh. It's 15%. 2 lakh. 10 lakh to 12 lakh. It's 15%. So 2 lakh का 15% कितना आ रहा है? 30,000. Next. Zero to 3 lakh, 3 lakh to 7 lakh, 7 lakh to 10 lakh, 10 to 12, 12 to 15. Next 3 lakh pay. 20%. 60,000. Next 12,000 pay 30%. 3,600. 3,600 plus 60 plus 30 plus 30 plus 20. 143,600 into 4%. 5,744 is the health and education size. 149, 344 and 149, 3. Wow. No rebate, no surcharge. See, Arhan's old regime में the income is low, but tax is 226. Default tax regime, the income is high, but the tax is low. So which one he should go for? He should opt for default tax regime. But once he opts in, he'll have to continue. He's just having salary and other source income. So not necessary to continue every year, he can decide. So is this clear to all of you? Check and tell me if you have any doubt. Easy? All right, come back to the material, our compiler. So this is 16th question with both regime. Final tax is to be rounded off, beta, not the tax surcharge says do भी है उसके बाद. चलो. A is aged 32 years. He is employed in a company with basic salary 50,000. He has received transport allowance 15,000 per month. Pura taxable there because he is not handicapped. HRA. He is paid rent. A has paid interest of housing loan. Okay. Construction of house is completed in March 25 and his parents live in that. Okay. Contribution to PPF, National Pension Scheme, medical insurance. For the father. For father and all, how much is allowed? 80D, 50,000. For medical insurance for self and spouse, along with health checkup expense in cash. How much is allowed? 25 because he's 32. I hope you remember. Mediclaim for self, spouse and children 25. For parents, mother, father, mila ke 50. If I am only senior citizen, then 50 for me, 50 for my parents. Okay? Right. Computation of the income and the tax slab. Okay. Under the default tax regime. They said whichever is most beneficial. So let us first calculate default tax regime. Okay? Right. We have to solve MTP, RTP also. So I'm discussing this is homework. You pick up your notebook, check and read the question. Allot yourself 10 minutes. Okay? Stopwatch laga ke. Solve and immediately correct. You'll get an amazing confidence. Okay? Chalo. Basic salary is 15,000 per month. Okay. Transport is there and HRA. HRA का कोई deduction नहीं मिलेगा. Okay. Standard deduction you will get. House property, even though it's a self-occupied property and interest and all, no benefit. Now from gross total income also PPF, this, that, mediclaim, no deduction you will give because you are filing your return in default tax regime. So you will not give any deduction. Okay? Right. So 945 is your income. Let us calculate the tax. Up to 3 lakh nil. 3 lakh to 7 lakh. जो next 4 lakh है उस पे 5%. 7 lakh. Say 10 lakh तक का है next lakh. So 7 to 945 only. It is 10%. So your tax is coming to 46,725, which should be rounded off to 46,730. Nice, clear? Compute the income and compute the tax liability under normal provisions. Oh, normal provisions you will get self-occupied property का interest का deduction भी मिलेगा Yeah. Because the property is completed in this year, so you will get the deduction. And you will also get all these Mediclaim and all deduction. In the new regime, I mean, say if you are opting out of the default tax regime, the standard deduction will become 50,000. Yeah, 1 second. Tell me this way, is it clear or you want to solve in notebook? Already old regime, we have default regime. We have finished. Now we are going for normal. So their basic salary will be same. He has received transport allowance fully taxable. Transport allowance is exempt only for handicap. HRA 25,000 he has received. Against that he is paying rent. So now in HRA deduction will be allowed. Right? Rent paid minus 10% of the salary. Salary for HRA is basic, DA, commission. But here it is only basic. Here commission to hai nahi. Clear to all of you, right? Okay. So rent paid. How much is rent paid? They already said 25,000 into 12. 3 lakh. Rent paid minus 10% of the salary. 50% of the salary because he is in Delhi and actual HRA. Least is exempt. So pura hi HRA exempt. You got gross salary. Standard deduction. From the gross salary, the standard deduction is 50,000. Yeah. Now, self-occupied property, there's a loss due to interest on loan 210. Maximum allowed is 2 lakhs. House property loss can be set off in salary. See, set off rules are also very important. And I've said earlier also that 6 heads are there, right? Okay. Chalo. 7 lakh 30, 2 lakh तो ये आ गया आपका 530. Now, let us take one by one deductions. Contribution to PPF, 80C. Contribution to pension scheme, yeah, 80 CCD मिलेगा. Medical insurance, all the 3 deductions you will get. Contribution to PPF, 150. Pension scheme up to 50,000 you can take a deduction in 80 CCD 1B. Actually, you can take in 80 CCD 1 also. But then there's an upper limit, no? 80C, 80 triple C, 80 CCD put together should not exceed 1,50,000. That's taught to you in 80 CCE. So already you have put 1,50,000 in PPF. So separately, can we take a deduction up to 50,000 in 80 CCD 1B? Yes. Mediclaim, self spouse and all 25. Others 50. Done. 2,55,000 में 5,000 पे 5% tax आ रहा rebate. Since tax liability as per the old regime का tax कितना आ रहा है nil और default tax regime का तो ज्यादा ही आ रहा है 46,730. Since the tax liability as per normal provisions, yeah, normal means old provision is lower. It would be beneficial for A to come out of the default tax regime and go in the old regime. Old regime में the tax is less, so you go for old regime. This you can do as homework, just as good as salary question. Be careful about the deductions. Chalo. I've also given one more question of the past exam from CA, and I want to take that up. That's in those who are having compiler. In compiler, it is page number 297 where we have given total income comparative problem number 16. And those who just have these sheets also, it is there. It's a very nice question. All these are past exam questions. See, important ones with presentation. Everything is taken care. Shall we start? It's a very simple and nice question. Yeah. B is the sales manager and he has received following. Basic salary. How much he has received basic salary? 85,000 up to December. 85,000 into 9. And thereafter 2,000 increase. So 87,000 into 3. Pick up your calculators. 85,000 into 9. You can't do in column form now because there are too many adjustments. 15 marks ka question. 10,26,000 is the basic salary. Yeah, up to December it was this, then increased. DA is 40% of the basic and it is included in retirement benefits. So you have to consider the DA. So basic or uska 40% D. Next is bonus is 1 month basic pay according to January. तो जनवरी में तो 87,000 हो गया था, हम बोनस ले लेंगे. नेक्स्ट इज he contributes 14% of the pay and DA towards RPF and his employer also contributes the same. Okay. Basic and DA ka 14%, but allowed as per the act contribution in the RPF is 12% of the basic and DA and interest is exempt up to 9.5%. So though they have contributed 14%, employer's contribution is in excess. 12% तक तो exempt है, but ये 14% है. So 2% of the basic and DA. What is in excess, they have taken taxable. I'm repeating, employer has contributed 14%, you can write in inner column, and then 12% is exempt, 2% will become taxable. Okay, next. Traveling allowance is 5,000 per month. Spent towards duty. So generally traveling allowance is taxable, only for handicapped it is exempt, but if it is spent for official purpose, it's exempt for all. Research and training is 300 per month taxable. Children education allowance is 600 per month per child. So it will be exempt up to 100 per month per child for 2 children. Here they are 3 children. तो पहले ये 3 को लिख लेते हैं. Traveling allowance. See, even if it is exempt, go and write it. Marks are there. Traveling allowance. Or you will have to remember and write the note niche. जैसे PPF interest was exempt, but marks are there, half of 1 mark. So traveling allowance exempt since provided towards the duty. Research and training allowance. Very well taxable for all. Medical allowance. Children education allowance is 600 per month for 12 months for 3 children. Exempt is 100 per month for 12 months for 2 children. Hostel hai to 300 education. So remaining will become taxable. Okay? Right. Now I always say even if they give RFA first, you do it last because what's the definition? I've made an exclusive video for all the definitions of the RFA. So make sure you check that also. Definitions of salary for RFA, for HRA, for gratuity. A gist table I have printed in the compiler and I have discussed in a separate video also. Do check that. It will not take more than 5 minutes. They are all there in the tax concept snippet playlist. Okay? What I was saying. थोड़ा सा भी इधर उधर किए ना हम भूल जाते. Yeah. Rent free accommodation. What's the definition of salary? Basic. DA if included. bonus, commission, okay, basic, DA, bonus, commission, taxable allowances, not allowance what is received and exempt, what is finally taxable allowance. That's it. Don't take taxable part of PF and perquisites be nailing. Once again, I'm repeating RFA's definition of salary, basic, DA in terms of retirement, bonus, commission, or taxable allowance. That's it. Okay? Right. Chalo. Let us check up the question once again. What did they talk? Until now, all adjustments are clear. Basic ho gaya, DA ho gaya, bonus ho gaya, traveling, research, children education. I'm again saying traveling allowance, even if spent for official purpose and exempt, you write a note. Accommodation owned by PQR Limited was provided to him in Hyderabad for whole year, along with furniture of 2 lakh, which was purchased in October. So if the furniture is provided by employer, then 2 lakh pay 10% depreciation for 6 months because it is there with us from October. वो तो ठीक है. But accommodation is given in Hyderabad, RFA, rent-free accommodation, 10% of the salary. So for RFA, what is the definition of salary? Rent-free accommodation. See, they have done a total here. Either you do like this or you write it in the working note. Will you take basic? Oops. Will you take basic? Yes. DA, bonus, traveling allowance, research, medical allowance, children's education allowance taxable? Yes. That's why I've taken PF down. Niche, PF is not a part. So rent-free accommodation is 10% of this salary. And for furniture, 2 lakh into 10% into 6 months. This is the value. RFA ka taxable value you have to calculate like this. Okay. Next now. Reimbursement of medical expense in private hospital, taxable. Medical allowance 1500 taxable. Treatment only in government hospital or hospital maintained by employer. है ना? Company has paid premium on the medical policy purchased on his health. Yeah? Company has paid premium on the medical policy purchased on his health. कंपनी ने आपके लिए मेडिक्लेम पे किया है, एग्जेम्प्ट है. हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी प्रीमियम पेड बाय एम्प्लॉयर एग्जेम्प्ट. लाइफ इंश्योरेंस टैक्सेबल. ठीक है, 15,000 टैक्सेबल. Health insurance is exempt. और एक था ना, medical allowance. That's already taken up only, medical allowance. I hope you are getting. I'm to directly reading and doing this. If you don't want to do here for RFA, you will take the medical allowance, but you will not take the medical reimbursement expense in private hospital. It's taxable. See, very nice, very beautiful. I'll re-explain again. Medical expenses reimbursed in private hospital, taxable as perquisites, not a part of RFA. Medical allowance fixed, very well taxable. Okay, so these two are very clear. Other than this, if the employer is taking health insurance, group insurance, no problem, it's exempt. Yeah, life insurance premium is paid by employer, taxable. तो ये छोटी छोटी बातों का ध्यान रखना, right? Employees contribution in excess again. Why standard deduction 50,000? Because we are calculating if he has, assuming that he does not opt for 115 BC. What will be the salary if he opts? देखी जाएगी, पहले ये तो करो. Compute the salary income if he opts for 115 BAC. Then you know these allowances which are exempt, ये नहीं मिलेगा. Rest all will be same. So what is your taxable salary? That only they have taken. Add back. If you file your return in default tax regime, the rest all is same. You will get a deduction for this RPF and all, but allowances may no deductions are allowed except those four: Divyang, handicapped, and other allowances which are used for official purpose. Confused हो रहे हैं तो please comment below. I'll do it in notebook. It will not take more than 10 minutes. हाँ. Acha, here how much standard deduction also you have given? 50,000. Here how much you will give? Yeah, 75,000. Right? If he's not opting for the default tax regime, then it is 50,000. But if he's opting, you will give extra. Correct. 1 second. Got closed. Okay. So now if you're going for the default tax regime, you will not get the children education allowance, but additional standard deduction should be deducted. By mistake, it is added, it will be deducted. There you have allowed 50. Here you will allow 75. So your salary will be deducted. Okay? So this will be 17 lakh 37. Now, their RFA is calculated 1596 ka 10%. But your 2,400 was deducted. So if you add this, the salaries definition for RFA will be, excuse me, 196 600, 159 600 plus 2,400. So 1599 ka 10% and furniture. I hope you are getting. RFA wrong one which is added deducted and the correct one added, you get it. This is the way they have done depending on the marks. But otherwise you can calculate the whole also separate. Okay? Right. Yeah, this will also change. This will become 1737. By mistake, 25,000 is added. If you are going in default tax regime, 25,000 more you will get standard deduction. Instead of 50, you will get 75. Okay, right. These are all very nice questions we will solve in total income question along with the presentation and all the highlights, triple column. You can write the working notes and the tax rates and all. Now, for some limits, suppose your total income goes wrong. Your tax is wrong. But if you have written these tax rates, now you will get 1/4 half marks for sure. It's a very important tip I'm giving you. Same for the GST. When we do GST's total income out of purchases, 50,000 purchase, it's just first lot received. So you can take ITC when last lot is. So write in inner column and put a dash. ITC nahi milega. But you write the information or you will have to write notes. So write least notes and write more of the things with clarity. Out of 50 units, 30 invoices missing. You will not get the ITC. Write clearly. Don't just directly write the answer. You will not get the step marks. So how did you like this revision of 115 BAC default tax regime versus normal? Check up more questions anywhere you have doubt. 92900 65156. Don't call on this number. Put a message, click the picture, write your name, which exam you are going to write. May, June 25, September 25. Will surely clear your doubt. Okay. That's all. All the best. Stay connected here. We are coming with solving of live RTPs, MTPs, one shot revision videos already done. Total income questions. If you want to solve live, then comment below. I will do that for sure. Very good quality professional level of questions. And today we took some in way of ticking. That was for my health issue. But definitely we will do maximum in writing in notebook the way we did Arhan's question for sure. Thank you so much. That's all for today. All the best. Bye bye, all of you.